Hello! Welcome to The Healing Artist. I'm your host, Frida. Friends, I have such a treat for you today. We are being joined by Mary Petto, who is a vibrational energy coach, rapid turmoil resolution specialist, and author of The Family Guide to the Law of Attraction. A sought after transformational speaker and mindfulness meditation teacher, Mary's private sessions and corporate presentations deliver immediate shifts. Think quantum business growth, emotional and physical healing, and completely transformed relationships. Her proprietary Quantum Leap Success program combines proven frameworks with insights from neuroscience, quantum physics, psychology, and her cutting edge healing modalities. The result? Her clients, whether they're battling anxiety, stuck in a loop of self doubt, or chasing bigger goals, walk away feeling lighter, clearer, and ready to create the reality they actually want to experience. Bottom line, if your brain is looping and your energy is leaking, Mary's the one you call to clear it. Mary, welcome to the Healing Artist.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here. Very excited.
So I would love to hear more about how you came to this work.
Absolutely. Well, it actually started, this journey from like corporate boss girl 30 years ago to like now I'm just all about healing people. I just want to heal. I want everybody to heal. And it's all really been tied together. And we're all living in a world trying to get by, working. And so my journey started actually when in 1994, I was working for Merrill Lynch. And I was a very young professional in 1994, just in case anyone was wondering. I was very young in 1994. And Merrill Lynch created this thing called University Week, and they were just all about like mandatory, but pick some classes to take and see what comes up. And I learned about something called Quantum Leap Success at that time.
Okay.
And it was just all about literally skipping over the how and just changing your vibrational energy to reap the success, right? So we're under the roof of Merrill Lynch. We're under the roof of this corporate conglomerate. So ultimately, it's like, where do you want to go with your career? You can quantum leap with and it really resonated for me because at the time I had always just made decisions and gotten what I wanted. I want this, I want this, I want this, and I got it. And I didn't know that it should be any different. But that was really validating. And I took that through probably the next 10 years of my life. But then I got married and I had small children. And I became a very anxious person. Severe anxiety attacks, really did not cope in the world well, just constantly in a bit of a sit. My kids were so tiny. And it was very hard to navigate. At the same time, I had dropped the corporate stuff because now I'm home with my kids and I'm doing social media for various companies, small businesses, authors, transformational leaders. And it happens to be now at the height of the popularity of a book called The Secret.
Sure, yeah.
So this was good for me, first of all, because in the beginning, when Facebook was invented, companies and people didn't know that they could do their own. So I leveraged that and I was doing it for people and taking on all these different brand voices. And there was this trend. They were all asking me to quote from this book. So I had to read it. And I read this book and I closed that book. And I never had another anxiety attack again. And I know that sounds crazy.
It's not.
And of course, it resonated because, and also like, not only did this like, oh my gosh, I have control over stuff. I have control over the way I approach things, think about things. I can, dare I say, manifest what I want. But at the same time, I realized that I had that knowledge previously and I had lived my life that way. I just didn't know it had a name.
Right.
But but to be honest, I was a bit of a spiritual a-hole too, because I didn't understand why people would complain about stuff in their life. Like, just change it, make a decision. What do you want? Just, it'll be yours, right? I didn't get it. Now it's all coming together. So I go out into the world and I'm coaching people on the law of attraction, the law of vibration. I wrote a book, The Family Guide to the Law of Attraction. Um, it was all wonderful. And I was doing coaching, but I was also teaching sales teams, right? Got the business hat back on. I'm out talking to real estate offices and about manifesting those right time, right place moments and your vibrational energy. And people are having a grand old time until I realized a trend. Now, I wouldn't call it a trend, but I started diving into those clients that would call me and say, this worked a little bit, but I can't, I'm not, I'm not getting past, I can't, fundamental practice when you want to leverage the law of attraction is to be able to see that future, right? You
Mhm.
have to see it, right? And then the rest follows. That's what we would call intention,
Mhm.
visualizing. People, the people that couldn't do that, there was something underneath, right? And
Mhm.
that's when I started exploring what's going on below the surface. What's going on in that part of that 95% of what determines what we see in our experiences in the world?
Mhm.
How is that so stuck for some people? And how do I clear it?
So when you
And
not to interrupt you, I just want to go. So when you the universe gave you anxiety so that you could move through it, were you how did you clear the anxiety though? How did you so you read The
I
Secret,
read the book.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
and then you just sort of made that shift just from that reading?
When
Because I'm
and
part of the nine,
actually,
I'm the 95%. I'm the ones that like
yeah, right. Well, and it is that our here's the fundamental thing when if I were to skip forward now into studying, the law of attraction is very much about the quantum field, right? That field of potentiality and
Mhm.
possibilities, but it's dependent on your neuroscience.
Yes.
What are you thinking? What are you feeling? That's the electromagnetic frequency that's seeking for that match. And so these underlying beliefs, or what might commonly be called limiting beliefs, the beliefs that I've got something to be afraid of, it's coming from a place where my sympathetic nervous system is trying to protect me.
Yes.
And that is the core of where people get stuck, when there is an imprint in there where a meaning has been assigned.
Mhm.
And the core directive of that sympathetic nervous system, which is happening below conscious conversation, it's trying to protect you. And so anxiety is really the body's response to the fear response. It's responding to its own response. An example would be, I'll use something common, like if you know somebody who has social anxiety and they're forced into a room, or somebody has to go speak or deliver a presentation at work, and then they have to go to the bathroom, right? Like, all of a sudden, like, oh, I gotta go. What's happening is that's one example of what happens when you move, when the body turns on, it's got a meaning. This is a threat. Standing out in front on that stage, it's a threat. So just like the rest of the animal kingdom, blood is going to rush to my legs. It's going to empty out all systems, and blood is going to drain away from my brain where I need to be thinking. And it's all going to go down, and I'm going to, if I were a bunny rabbit, I would poop before I took off running for the, right? So that's why we have to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
That's literally what's happening. And so those tend to be like one-off things, right? I'm
Mhm.
afraid, my heart's beating fast, my breath is getting shallow. these things happen. Now, what happens in anxiety or a panic attack is your body reads those physical fear responses as being a threat also. It
Okay.
is a double, it's like, I'm afraid that's going to happen, but wait, what's this? My heart's beating, and now I'm afraid of what's happening in my body. And so, and it's not that you're consciously afraid of it, it's the fear response doubling down on itself.
Got you.
That is a panic attack. Now, if I'm reading a book
Hmm.
and through story and allegory and metaphor, inner mind gets a new message
Hmm.
and says, hey, you know what? There's a different perspective here. You can control an outcome, fill in the blank, whatever it is that causes your own anxiety, right? Now, inner mind slash sympathetic nervous system is not going to sense the threat the same way.
Okay, because so
Might not
you're
even sense the
rewriting
threat.
that. Okay.
Exactly. And so when you learn both in a conscious and unconscious way at the same time, you're really doing some healing.
Yeah.
Because let's just say now, so I'll just go back to my discovery, and not that I discovered something, but me, what have I discovered for myself? I have learned now teaching people about the law of attraction and intention that there's underlying stuckness. What's causing it? Why doesn't it clear up for everybody in therapy?
Yeah.
Some people don't even go to therapy because they feel like I don't really have like a trauma or a real
Hmm.
problem. So, and so like just this constant leaky something that prevents this being fully resourced, fully creative, fully feeling joy, whatever it is. And so I moved my learning over and evolved it into mindfulness,
Hmm.
teaching mindfulness. It's a skill that anybody can learn.
I think
And
everybody should
it,
learn that. I wish we would
I
start teaching
can,
that in kindergarten,
I mean,
preschools.
really, at least it's becoming common knowledge how mindfulness can help you with your physical health,
Yeah.
right? And again, it's the same direct connection. We have this leaky energy, whether it's trauma or grief or resentment or anger or insecurity or phobia, whatever it is, the body is in small ways. The blood is running toward the legs, the
Hmm.
energy is depleting, and your parasympathetic nervous system at that restorative state is not fully engaged.
Hmm.
So, heart disease, things related to stress, all of that, because it's like your house has like a low burning fire going on in it, and you're trying to like paint the shingles,
Yeah.
right? It's you're not fully restoring. And so, um, that mindfulness practice really helps people in general. Not only helps your physical health, helps you restore, helps you make peace with where you are, but now you can engage in really good conversations. Now you can start thinking a little more strategically and creatively because you're seeing things for how they are. I can get a text from a family member that I'm already angry about, and my brain will insert words
Right. I know.
that they didn't say.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely happened in my life.
So imagine if I can approach even a little adversity or a
Yeah.
challenging person, but starting from a baseline of zero emotion,
Right. Right. So you're
that
that perspective.
non-judgmental awareness of,
Yeah.
oh, now I can read this
Yeah.
and respond, and maybe even be really super smart and cheeky with my response because I'm thinking, right? I can think through it. I can
Yeah.
see it for what it is. And so the mindfulness is what I bring, like at least to a corporate audience. That's something I can teach at scale. Let
Hmm.
me show everybody how their world and what they see, how they can literally change and fit and fix themselves physically. But then I took it to another level, which was learning about rapid resolution therapy. It was created by someone named Dr. John Connolly. And it is this incredible modality. I became specialized in it. I'm one of only a couple dozen people in the world now. I call it rapid turmoil resolution. I like to remove the word. I'm not a therapist, and I don't want to imply that I am. But in my sessions, when I talk to you, I'm talking to your conscious and your unconscious at the same time,
Mhm.
and getting certain meanings cleared away that have been stuck there for you. And
Yeah.
so it's for all intents and purposes a one session situation, one life-saving conversation.
Hmm.
And bada bing, bada boom, people will come to me with some really painful stuff that they want cleared and not really be thinking about the law of attraction or manifesting a house or the love of their life. But the truth is that once that's cleared out, now you can start seeing a future
Hmm.
and you can start imagining possibilities
Yeah.
and you can problem solving and things will manifest to you anyway in the right
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. I'm so curious. Something I've always been, so I remember The Secret, and I think it kind of messed me up in a lot of ways because I think it just felt, first of all, I don't visualize, I don't see anything. It's just, I'm one of those people where it's just dark when I close my eyes. So, and it was all about that visualization. So I was like always just working with, oh, the feeling of whatever. But the thing that always just never quite sat right was because it was always about stuff. Like it was a manifesting stuff. And like the truth of the matter is it's not the stuff, it's the feeling. What do we want to feel like? It's like, oh, well, I want my house to be paid for because I want the feeling of safety and security. Yeah,
Well
so like
said.
so I think
Yeah,
that that's the one thing that was kind of missed in that, but it brought that awareness to millions and millions of people. So I think that she
right.
did a good thing in some ways, but it was a little
Yeah,
weird that it was like about materialist capitalist.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is a start because again, that's what people think about. But I always like to say, people will come at me and say, well, then why isn't everybody winning the lottery?
Right.
So, but here's the thing. I will never tell somebody when we do our practice, when I'm teaching a workshop, I always say, don't don't put your intention on getting a raise at your job or winning the lottery unless that raise has really strong meaning for you. Like it means some kind of recognition. It means you've achieved something. But if you are just seeking the raise or the lottery so that you can ABC, skip that part. Skip it.
Right.
You're going to skip it and you're going to go to, let's say, the house, like what you're saying, right? So it's the house, but it's the house because what is the house? Now let's talk about the house, visualize the house, but not just looking at the house, enter the house, sit in the house, look out the window. What is this feeling? What is this abundance? What is this romance? What is that frequency? Because that is going to bring forward then a vibrational match of those feelings
Mhm.
where the result will be that or something better
Right. I like this
that
something
you
better.
can't even that you can't
Yeah.
even conceive of right now. And
Right.
so the lottery doesn't have the frequency. The emotion behind the freedom or the experiences, that's where you're going to focus.
Right.
And that's where that stuff's going to come flooding in. But it's interesting, Frida, that you said that you're not a visualizer,
Hmm.
that you close your eyes um, and you see the darkness. But there's so many ways, right, to sort of match yourself with that intention. Um, but when it comes to mindfulness and when it comes to a rapid turmoil resolution session or anything at all, it's what you are imagining is um, life without the judgment
Mm.
or life without the limit
Hmm.
of the story, life without the fear,
Yeah.
or whatever that is for you, life without the pain. And that's the point from where we start a rapid turmoil resolution session. What can I accomplish for you today? What would you like to clear? Not what do you want your life to be like?
Yeah.
But what do you want out? Like an appendix or a tonsil,
Yeah.
right? Because the whole system was built, back in the days when we actually had to run away from a lion.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that anymore. But now we've got this like really cool, modern, tripped out stereo system in an old jalopy car. And that's why things don't work for us, right? So, animals, the rest of the animal kingdom for which we are a part of, that sympathetic nervous system turns on at just the right moment when data comes in that there's a threat. And
Hmm.
so, if I can look out the window and be hanging out with you and having our coffee together, and we see a cute little bunny rabbit out the window eating some flowers. Well, so cute. And then it takes off so spontaneously and suddenly, like my coffee goes flying, and we're like, what happened? And we see, like, just behind a little fence, a little tuft of a tail of a fox. And I go, hey, Frida, look, that fox made the rabbit take off. And
Hmm.
you're smarter than me. So you say, Mary, um, that doesn't make any sense because really the fox wants the rabbit for lunch. So why would it make the rabbit take off? It was pretty still over there, but it was the data coming into the rabbit blew up so that there'd be no confusion. We're not going to stop and eat more flowers.
Hmm.
We're not going to stop and do it like bunnies do and try to reproduce. We're just going to see the data of this threat and all blood is going to rush away to the legs until it's safety. And now if you were to catch up with that bunny rabbit a mile away, we got on our bikes to go find poor little Miss Bunny, and say to her, oh my gosh, are you okay? That fox was so big and scary. She would be like, what fox? Where? Oh my God, there's a fox? And we'd have to calm it down and say, no, 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 there is none. We'd say it again, but that was a close call. That fox was scary. What fox? They have no idea. And it's a
Right. Yeah.
beautiful thing that
Right.
we don't do that.
No, we lodge stuff in our system and then it informs for the future over and over again. So you go in and help shake this out and shift those limiting beliefs, but you're able to do this really quickly.
Yes.
And then how?
How? How?
Yeah, no, I am really like I'm curious because like that telling the story over and over and over again. I mean, I'm very familiar with that. It's taken like I had like 13 years of talk therapy to move through some childhood stuff.
And, let me preface this with, um, I've gotten some hate mail from therapists, but I also get referrals from therapists.
Hmm.
And the reason is, the work of therapy is so wonderful, right? To help people navigate their world and make good choices and like learning to cope, let's say. But sometimes their work can't be done because there's a stuckness that's so deep down.
Right.
And so I will have a therapist send somebody to clear me for trauma.
Yeah.
And then now they can go back to the therapist
Yeah.
and the therapist can now help them navigate this world where it's
Shift.
not part of them anymore.
Yeah.
And the journaling makes sense and has an impact. I'm using
Right.
journaling loosely, but I'm just saying that exercise is the practice. Um, but in terms of
I believe in the
a
holistic too. Everything. Bring it all. Bring it
okay,
all.
let me
Bring the
give
food,
it to
bring the
you.
yeah, like bring the food, bring the, proper nutrition, bring the modern medicine, bring the therapy, bring what you're bringing, like bring it all. Bring all.
Okay. Well, I love that. Well, with that permission, I will just start right at, and I think when you say how is it that this is possible? I'm gonna I just want to outline the differences here, right? So talk therapy is you're having a conscious conversation, right? You're talking, you're telling your story, you're telling your feelings, you're telling what happened. You're telling what you believe is the why, the cause and effect. And if you could remove a stuckness with the conversation, then I think everybody would be walking around pretty content, right? Just
Sure.
get over it. It's not real. It's not happening anymore. What's your problem? Right? Um, to be a little brief about it. But so you're trying, but the problem is the stuckness is happening from a place different from where it's originating and generating from a place different from where we're experiencing it.
Yeah.
It's not coming from where we're experiencing it. And so, people tend to go through a cause and effect. I am this way. I'm suffering from this because this, and then that, and then this, and he said that, and he did this, and I had to endure that. And so we do this whole cause and effect thing, and that creates this perception that I am this way because of something that is now out of my control.
Yeah.
And so I want to keep talking about it. If I could say be happy, don't be sad, you have so much to be grateful for, it would be over. And that doesn't work because it's not there. That's not
Right.
where it is.
Right.
Okay. And I will add to that where I'll just use the example of a trauma, right? A trauma and a PTSD where this forcing of the conversation before it's clear, it's going to keep shaking that sympathetic nervous system response every
Mhm.
time you tell it, right? That's what PTSD is. It's the sympathetic nervous system resonating every time something is similar. Anytime something feels to have a meaning that connects to that
Yeah.
trauma. And so now you're retelling it and it's like, ow, ow, ow. You just kind of keep hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And so what happens in my session is I'm doing most of the talking. Let's start there. Okay. I'm going to, without it sounding too bombastic, I'm going to heal you. Right. If you were to go to the hairdresser, he or she would not hand you the scissors and say, well, you really got to take it off the front first. I'll watch you come back and listen. If you can't cut it right, you're not taking full responsibility for your hairdo there. So come back. Let's do it again. Here's the scissor. No, I've got the scissors. Let me take care of this for you. So I'm taking the responsibility for it. I'm checking in throughout the session. I have ways of gauging throughout the hour and a half, 2 hours, whether or not it's beginning to work.
Mhm.
And it really is, you just get to listen to me talk like
Mhm.
too much. I'm talking, I'm doing a lot of talk. Now, yes, like I do have to get, like, we set that intention, right? This comes all the way back to the law of attraction where we were, right? Let's set the intention. What do you want clear?
Mhm.
And it's funny, so many people will start telling me a story.
Yes.
Um, and sometimes I actually cut the person off. And I do say, like, I'm sorry that happened to you. I understand that's where you are right now. What can we change? What do you want to change? What are we clearing?
Plucking
Let's
out.
answer that question.
Mhm.
Some cases I have to make sure they want it cleared. There are times when, and this is the compounded problem sometimes of turmoil and stuckness and leaky energy is I wouldn't call it an attachment to the
Identity.
pain. There's sometimes that's identity, but sometimes it's like an additional meaning. For instance, if
Oh,
somebody is like, they have this resentment and it's interfering with an important relationship, right? Or
yeah.
they're this ongoing anger, they might feel like, I hate feeling this way, Mary. I am here because I want this pain removed. Are you okay not being angry anymore? I don't know. I don't know if I'm okay with that, right? Because then there's often like an attached meaning to somebody's getting away with something if I'm not angry anymore.
Yeah.
So first step, I have to clear that. Same thing, even with grief. And everybody suffers grief in some way, shape, or form, let's say with the passing of a loved one. And then there's grief, but there's grief, and then there's like coping with it. And then it's like, okay, but there are people that deal with grief long term, and they suffer for much longer than the average person, and they're not experiencing joy, and it is interfering with their life. And so I always ask, they'll come to me, they don't want to feel that way anymore. Are you okay clearing the grief? Sometimes there's a hesitation.
Sure, right. Because who are you without that? Or what if you betray the memory of the person that's gone?
Right there,
Hmm.
there's a guilt, there's a what will people think if I
Yeah.
don't demonstrate that I'm grieving anymore? Will they think I'm selfish? Will they think, will I be letting down my dead loved one?
Hmm.
Well, all these things. So like we got to clear that stuff out first. So it's just another example of, we live our lives and all this input comes in and we get all these meanings, and it's just one of the side effects of having an advanced mind, right? It's our natural, and then you combine this advanced mind with this old school sympathetic nervous system that's scanning for threat. It's kind of got the making, we're all at risk for some kind of stuckness. So whether it's trauma or it's a discontent, a light leaky insecurity, or feelings of imposter syndrome, or it could be anything. It is always based on it's being generated from someplace different than we're experiencing it. And that gives people a lot of power too, because, oh, so there is potential. It's not the cause and effect of what happened to me. It's just the way my mind is processing the information. Now that I know it's just the way my mind is processing information, not because of that jerk
Right.
10 years ago, right? Now it's the way my mind is. Now I feel like I've got some power.
Yeah, yeah. Do you primarily work with people who've had issues in this life? Like, does it ever come up that the stuck energy is actually something that came in like from a past life or something that's hanging out from another time?
That has come up. We don't necessarily go looking for it,
Yeah.
but sometimes that does happen to come up mid-session.
Hmm. Because I
It's
feel like there's
really,
always like these energetic little tendrils into all sorts of stuff. You never know. It's like, oh,
mhm,
this is attached to this and it didn't even happen this time around or something.
yeah.
Little
Hmm.
weirdness.
Well, and it could be that that's why a meaning was attached to something
Right.
else, right? So it could be like a resentment toward your brother, and to the rational person looking in from the outside, they don't see it. They don't see why you would be so stuck on this.
Right.
And so the reason things get stuck is just, it could be anything. The reason I like to, the whole cause and effect thing. And again, I hope this gives your listeners a little bit of power and feelings like the solution and the clearing is a breath away,
Yeah.
is three people can be in the same scenario, literally in the same moment together, and experience something happening. And all three of them come away having processed it differently, right? And
Yes.
so, that right there is an example of, it's not that some guy pushed everybody online at the bank and was acting like a jerk that caused me to be so angry and put off all day. I could say that, but how come the other person online with you just asked that person if he was okay and
Right.
if he could use a hug,
Right.
and then went about their day and went on to their meetings and practically forgot about it? That would say to me, that should say to everyone, it's not the guy's behavior that put you in a bad mood today. It's the way your mind is processing information about what happened.
Right. Right. Or that like it triggered something within to then
Right. It's the
how is
way,
that affecting
exactly.
it? Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so let's get that out. Let's just
Hmm.
like, just get in there, twist it and take it. And what the beautiful thing that happens when you clear that that stuckness, that blip in the way mind is processing information, is the energy that was leaking out,
Mhm.
going to other places, maybe affecting you physically or stopping you from being able to enjoy fully, or you couldn't really think or be present. We've now plucked that out and the energy is going to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
And now you're back to more whole, and you're back to being resourced and feeling
Hmm.
joy and thinking on your feet and all the great things.
Yeah, I love this. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, so fantastic. If someone
Thank you.
wanted, if somebody wanted to work with you, where would they find you?
Well, they could easily find me on my website, which is portablevisions.com. And if I can offer a little gift
Yeah.
for your listeners, um, anybody that kind of wants to begin to experience separating um, how they're feeling from why they think they're feeling it, right?
Mm,
I have something called the loop locator.
okay.
So if you've been like spiraling in anger or grief, heartbreak, fear, your nervous system, we've established here today, your nervous system isn't sabotaging you. It's well-meaning. It's stuck in a loop. And
Hmm.
this guide helps you find where that loop lives and what to do about it. So it will help you find the signal that your mind's been replaying and show you how we can clear it together.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's portablevisions.com/gift.
Okay.
You won't find like a button on my website, so it's just /gift, and
Maybe
that's
we
how
could,
you get to it. Yeah.
we'll put a link in the show notes.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, Mary, this has just been a total pleasure, like hearing this story. I'm very intrigued.
Oh, good.
And you've also
Yeah.
given me some good thoughts because I always sort of had a little bit of a wounding from The Secret, to be honest. So I'm like, all right, let me reassess this in my mind. Let me
Mhm.
rewrite that story.
Well, it is, and it's listen, there's nothing like a good rewrite, but yeah, the overarching thing here, and I hope that, in a generalized sense, people take away from learning about the law of attraction or reading The Secret or my book, The Family Guide to the Law of Attraction. Um, it's about changing, it's about how if you can change your perspective and your expectation, you can change your experience. And so in the book is just filled with fun exercises and like stories about my clients, some of whom, like one is a fourth grade girl and one is a grown ass man in a corporate environment wanting to be promoted from vice president to executive vice president, right? And so, it just shows, this concept of expectation
Yeah.
and surrendering into understanding that there is possibility and that you don't have to know how everything's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting out of the logical mind.
Yeah, and that's a great place to start for a lot of thoughts and healing and healing your relationships and things like that. So, yeah, I'm glad if I could redirect you to that book, maybe a little reread and with like a new perspective, or just read my book.
I'll read
Just read
your
my book.
book. I'll read
Okay,
your
yeah,
book.
just
Yeah, we're
read
done with that.
mine.
We're done with Rhonda
We're,
Byrne.
yeah, we're over that. Hey, and it's short, it's 90 pages. I've got my own illustrations in there. It's on
Excellent.
Amazon. All
Yes,
right.
I'll take a look at your book.
Okay.
I feel like I absorbed what I could absorb with that and then went and did a ton of healing work on my own because that was back in the early aughts.
All right, good, good.
Oh, Mary, thank you so much for joining us today. And I wanted to tell you that I love you.
Oh, that is such a beautiful thing to hear. I feel really held in this space and I love this community and I
Oh,
love the light and joy that you just bring to the world. It's just wonderful.
well, thank you so much. God, Universe Source loves you. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.